Some people get so comfortable with your presence that they start treating your loyalty like a guarantee. They're so comfortable with your presence that they think you're not ever going to leave. They think you're never going to go anywhere. Seriously, they think that you're going to be around forever because that's how they feel. They feel like you're not going anywhere. They feel like they can always count on you, that they can treat you anyway and you will always be there. But oh, how the tables have turned because now they can't reach you. And so they thought you'd never leave, but you're nowhere to be found in their lives. But this time something changed. You stopped chasing. You no longer need their energy to validate you. You no longer need these people to be the main character in your own story because you're your own main character. You are done and through dealing with these individuals, period. And now they cannot reach that version of you that they once had access to. The game has changed. You're not the same person. And it's hitting these people like a ton of bricks because they thought you'd never leave, but now they can't reach you. Because truth be told, family, they got comfortable having access to you. They got real comfortable having access to you that they didn't see it any other way. They thought you would never leave and they can show up in your life any way that they wanted to. And what happened is over time, that same comfort turned into carelessness. Now they're taking you for granted. Now they're talking to you or treating you all types of ways. Nah, that didn't feel good to you. And you didn't have to deal with that. So you removed yourself emotionally, physically, mentally. Nah, man, you're good and you're gone. And so now these individuals are left with the fact that, whoa, maybe this person could leave. You know what I mean? Maybe this person would leave. And they never thought that because they thought in their minds that you were going to chase them. That y'all, they just knew you were going to chase them. I'm telling you what I know, these folk just knew you were going to chase them because they thought that they really understood you emotionally. But at the end of the day, family, here's the reality. Everybody has a breaking point. Everybody gets to that point in their lives where they're like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I'm done living in lack. I'm done being treated all type of ways. I'm done not being appreciated. And I'm done not being respected. And you got to that breaking point where you no longer wanted to abandon yourself. You know what I mean? And it takes time to get there, family. This doesn't happen overnight. Things like this happen over time. And that's why they thought you'd never leave because maybe in the past you stayed until you didn't anymore. Until you stopped chasing because you realized you never had to anyway. Until you stopped needing their validation because you realized you never needed it anyway. And until you stop being that version of yourself that you never wanted to be because you didn't want to be that version anyway. You know what I mean? You got to that point where you were like, nope, I'm good. I'm good with that. I'm good on all of that. And I want more, different, and better for myself. And so now that you put that distance in between y'all and their minds, they're like, oh, nah, they'll be back. He'll be back. He's just having a little fit. He'll be back. She'll be back. Not this time. This time you're not coming back because this time you are showing yourself, right? And you are becoming that new version of self and everybody feels it. And they realize that this wasn't the plan. This wasn't the plan. Their plan to treat you any type of way, the plan is not working. Because when you realize that your self-respect is worth and valued more than the attachment that you have for these folk, man, you was out. You no longer need it. You realize your value and your importance and you're acting on it, family. And that's facts. These people really thought you would never leave, yo. They thought you would never leave until you did. They thought you would never leave. And now they can't reach you because now you're nowhere to be found, yo. Real talk. Your silence turned to their emotional panic. Your silence is now their problem. You know what I mean? It don't feel good. It's not hitting the same. They looking in their phones with the expectation that you would hit. They are looking in their phones with the expectation that you would be in their call log. But what happens when you're not, though? I'll wait. What happens when they look and they starting to see a pattern of you no longer being there? What happens when they stop and think and realize that, yo, I think I left the real one. I let a real one go. You know what I mean? I think I left a good person. You know what I mean? I think I messed up. And now they're no longer to be found. You know what I mean? Now they're gone. And you've revoked your access and they're trying to figure out like, what just happened? Because silence hit differently when someone realizes that they can no longer control your emotions. They can no longer control it. Their silent treatment, the way that they were moving, the way that they were acting, they can no longer control your emotions, period. So now they're curious. They're trying to figure out what, their first thing is, oh, you got somebody, because they can't even fathom the fact that you actually healed. They can't even fathom the fact that you don't want them anymore and that you moved on. Nah, you're not playing those games anymore. The only game you're playing is how to become a millionaire, period. We are a big age A big age, whatever age you are, and you watching this video, you are a big age, and you no longer have to deal with that. Let me get closer when I tell you. You don't have to deal with that. For what? Yo, you the best thing that a lot of these people ever had in their lives, whether they admit it or not. You no longer have to deal with that foolishness because you were the one anyway. You were the anointing anyway. And a lot of these individuals come thinking that they're blessed, but the reality is they're in your anointing. Maybe they're blessed, maybe, I'm sure. But it's truly them living in your blessing and them living in your anointing. So now that you're not here and they can't feel you, your silence is hitting different. Now they're becoming curious. They're trying to figure out what's going on. Nothing is going on other than you've changed and you've grown and you want new and different for yourself, period. Because the truth is, the less access you gave these people, the more they're forced to reflect. Forced to reflect on how they did you wrong. Forced to reflect on the wrong that they've done in their lives and in your lives. Forced to reflect on how they could have done things differently. Now they're trying to figure out, man, they're going back and forth in their mind. How did I let a good one go? How did I let it get to this point? How did I let this happen? They can't even figure it out. Because truth be told, your presence brought them much comfort. Yo, people hate to admit that, yo. Your presence brought them so much comfort. Now they're sitting in discomfort, dealing with people that are unkind, people that are not nice, people that are not you. Real talk. Dealing in environments and spaces that you probably would never roll in. Becoming versions of themselves that they don't even know who they are. No, you pulled your power and your energy back, and rightfully so, family. And the real shift is you finally realize your own self-worth. You have spent years in your life, right? Making sacrifices for people, doing the most for everyone else, taking care of everybody else out there, but not taking care of you in here. You've spent so much years of your life making sure that everybody, everything, everyone was taken care of. And now you're in a season where you're doing that for yourself. Of course, you're not in their lives anymore. What did they think? Did they think that they can keep treating you badly and that you would continue to show up? No, those patterns that you were running are gone. Those patterns that you were running are over. You're no longer showing up like that. You're no longer living in lack. You're no longer dealing in foolishness, and you're no longer dealing with them. Surprise, you're not there anymore. Surprise, they thought you'd never leave, yo. Surprise. And that can even apply to work. That can apply to any area of your life where a person or people are taking you for granted. Surprise, you're not dealing with it anymore. And you don't have to. And it's so uncomfortable for these people now because they got to sit with their behavior. They got to sit with their ego. They got to sit with the uncertainty and the realization of what they did. And it doesn't feel good. They got to sit with their emotions, yo. And there's no one coming to save them. You used to save these people. You used to make these people feel good about themselves. Tell me I'm wrong. That's the type of person you are. You are the type of person that you are so anointed, yo. And you are so blessed and kind that anybody that comes in your life automatically feels good just by your mere presence. That anybody that steps foot in your reality steps out your reality better. Steps out your reality abundant. They step out your reality more because you are more. But sometimes we lose sight of who we are when we out here rolling with chickens, but we hold eagles. Sometimes we lose sight when we're dealing with people who crawled into your life and you trying to crawl in their environments. No, you lost sight of that, yo. But it's the human experience and it's no judgments. We've all done it. But your silence is feeling real loud. Your lack of being in their lives, they're feeling it. It's like something cut the air. They can feel it in the air, yo. You took all of your energy back. You took all of your energy back and you wrapped that around yourself. And that's energy for you to heal. And that's what you've been doing. They thought you'd never leave, but where are you now? On to bigger and better. Doing more with what you've always had. Sometimes we forget the blessings of who we are because we were dealing with them. When you're dealing in lack and low environments for so long, you forget who you are. But family, I need you to understand and know that losing access to you forced all these folks to change. They ain't never been the same since. So now you're out here winning. They're watching you, y'all. And I'm telling you, they won't see you, but they'll see you. You think that they're not watching you. You think that all eyes are not on you. Don't underestimate yourself. You think that they're not watching you. They very much so are. They see you. And that's just the way life is. They're going to hear about you. It could be days, weeks, months, and years. I have heard so many stories of people that are coming back to their old person because they went out here and they bet wrong. Months and days and years and weeks have passed, and these individuals still can't get over you. But in their minds, they didn't need you because they really found themselves to be superior. I have heard stories, y'all, of people that went out here and bet wrong. And now all of a sudden they got to watch you win. Do you know how hard that is? Do you know how hard it is to watch the person that you never thought would win? To watch the person that you just knew you were superior to go out here and dominate, y'all. This is these people's story. It didn't end well for them, y'all. They went out here and they underestimated you and they thought that you would never leave, and you did. And not only did you leave, you took your anointing, you took your blessing, you took everything, man. And what are they left with? The thoughts of how they did you wrong. They got to live. What did Jay-Z say? They got to live with the fact they did you wrong forever because you gone forever. You know what I mean? Like, you're out here and you don't need them because you never did. You need you. And anywhere you go, there you are. And you plus God, your chakras, yo, whatever you believe in, you plus you equals win, man. And at the end of the day, the people that were in your life only enhanced it and made it better. They didn't make you, yo. They didn't make you. Who did they think that they were? When they were taking you for granted and thinking that you'll never leave, yo, they thought that they were better than you? That they thought that you were going to continue on this trajectory? No, you were not. You decided to work on you, make changes in your life, do new and different things, show up differently, and little by little, little became a lot. And little by little, you overcame those patterns you were running. And you start to realize that life is better, family, and you want to change. And what is change? True change is waking up every day and making a different choice than you did the day before. True change is making a different choice than you did the day before, as hard as it is. Because you know you don't want to be that version of self, and you no longer want to show up in your life the way you were showing up. And these people had you down bad, man, please. Had you thinking that you weren't the thing? I'll wait. They really made you feel like you weren't the one or that you weren't the thing, but that's far from the truth. They underestimated you. They never thought you'd leave. You left, and now here we are. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Here we are. You being a better version of yourself. You showing up in your life better. Doing new and different things with greater people. You knowing your value. And truly, we got to stop measuring our value by how other people treat us. Because sometimes when people treat us wrong, we start to think that we're bad people. We start to think that we're no good. No, absolutely not. That was just those people. You are better than that. Always has been, always will be immaculate, and always will be amazing. And I'm so proud that you've taken a journey to be better. Y'all, I've said this before. You are a big age, and life is so short. It's so short. You turn around and it's 5 years later. It's so short that you set goals for yourself and you realize time is passing faster than you can accomplish them. You do not need to be dealing in spaces or with people that are not bringing out the best version of yourself. You no longer have to deal in spaces with people that are not making you a better version of who you are. No, we no longer are going to be underestimated by people that we make great. Yo, you be in these people's lives, making their life great again, giving them money, taking care of their family, motivating them, letting them know that you care, doing everything for them, just to get nothing in return. And they thought that this cycle could continue. They thought that this cycle would never, ever stop because they never considered the cost of losing you. Yo, and there is a cost. They never considered the cost of losing you. They were living in the moment, but they traded what they wanted most for what they wanted for that moment. Because truth be told, losing you, they lost a lot, yo. Not just a physical person. They lost love, a future, a lot of things. And now they're seeing it, all because they underestimated you. And it may have taken you some time, but you left. It took you a little bit of time, but you're no longer here and you're no longer present. And now they wish that you could just come back. I'm telling you what I know, family. Even the hardest of them folk, maybe they will never admit it. But if they could just get one last chance just to be in your orbit, if they could just get one phone call where you hit and tell them that you want to come back and that you love them, because a lot of these folks want to come back to you so bad, but their ego won't even allow it. They're waiting on you to make the first move. They want you to be the one to be like, hey, what you doing? Can we talk? I miss you, man. Them days are over with. You've done that. You've done that. And you realize that maybe it didn't get you where it needed to. So now you decided to work on you. When you left them, you went back to self. When you left them, you went back to God, the universe, your chakras, your whatever your beliefs are. You went back to you, and you're becoming a better you. And I'm telling you, when you do that, family, all things come to you. That tribe of friends that you're supposed to have, they come to you. That new relationship with that man or woman, it comes to you. You create an equal, yo. When you out here being great, everything that you want, you're creating a new life, a new environment. Everything, self-sufficiency, yo. You're not even that same version of self that you used to be, and you realize that you never had to be that person. They underestimated you. They thought that you would never leave. Lo and behold, you did. Because you learn to love yourself. You learn to put yourself in environments where you're not tolerated, but where you're actually loved. And you learn to be the best version. And none of this was easy. None of it ever is. But at the end of the day, family, you out here and you're winning. And who doesn't want to be close to the sun? And you are the sun. And that's on facts, family. And now they can't reach you the same way anymore. Now they can't call you like they used to. But honestly, that is a side effect of what it's like when you do someone wrong and they're no longer in your environment. That is the consequence of taking your presence for granted. And now they feel it, and that's on everything. Stay inspired. I want to thank you so much for watching my content. I started my YouTube page to share the many lessons that I learned along the way. And I hope my videos are resonating with you, providing you peace in a time of discomfort, and just overall resonating. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Peace and blessings to you. Stay inspired.